it's the easiest thing in the world to do? Quit. Honestly, it is. It's the easiest thing in the world to do, to quit. I remember quitting, and many people remember quitting things. I remember quitting the saxophone when I was young, played for 6 years or 7 years or something like that, and practicing every day sucked and was hard. Quitting was super easy. It was really easy, and it was just, you don't quit when you're like having fun and you're doing really well. You quit because you're either bored or things are tough. Now, in my case, I was bored. I wasn't challenged enough. So I had progressed. I'd gotten really good. And I was playing in like state bands and stuff, auditioning for stuff. And I was at a really good level. And then I can't even remember, but I started just getting away from the state stuff that was really good and challenging and went back to kind of the high school or whatever, grade school bands. And it just wasn't challenging. It was boring. And so I quit. And it just happened in a moment. It was like a day. It was a fraction of a day, maybe a minute. I'm like, nah, I don't want to do it anymore. And then the next day I didn't practice. The next day I didn't practice. And the saxophone collected dust, and I never played again. After 6 years, I gave it up, and I was really good. To this day, it's one of the biggest regrets I have, honestly, because I think it started, I don't know, when I was 10, 8, I don't know. I'm 51 now. I mean, I'd be one badass saxophone player. I mean, I'd be I'd be awesome. There are days that I think about, okay, what if I picked it back up and just, started at it again? But it's a big regret. And it's interesting because you don't quit something when things are going really well. You tend to enjoy the things you're great at, right? You also, on the other hand, don't enjoy things you're not great at. Now, I was really good at the saxophone. I enjoyed it, really enjoyed it when I was challenged and when I was playing with really good bands. I didn't enjoy it when I was playing in groups that were not pushing me or challenging me. So there's so many different leadership lessons from this. One is the fact that you have to ensure that you and your teams are always challenged. It's one of the biggest things I see people make career decisions about. They stop a career, they move companies, whatever the case is, or change total industries because they're just not challenged. They're not growing anymore. So as a leader, question number one is, are you challenging yourself and challenging your people enough? Ask them, hey, how challenged are you? I mean, are you really doing what you feel you can do? Are you really tapping into everything you really think you can do? How can I help that? What else can you do that might help bring out the potential of you as a leader? But here's the other thing too. We tend to quit. It is so easy to quit something when things are not going well. It's just, if you're very rarely do you quit something after you've had lots and lots of success, and then all of a sudden, now maybe in that case you are bored and that's the reason why you quit, but a lot of times we quit something, we stop something when we're not doing well with it. We are at a bad point. We're going through that disillusioned learner phase, right? As a leader, this is really critical, right? I know that when I make the decision as a leader, now I'm just wired that way where I know when things are going tough. And there's so many great leaders out there, great people, great individuals that are not getting the results they want because life is cyclical. It goes up and down. Business is cyclical. The market's cyclical. Everything is. So we have great times and we have bad times. Sometimes the results don't match the leader. They don't match the person. There are great, talented people that are not getting great results, but oftentimes that's temporary. So I have to, and usually it is. So oftentimes what I have to say is, and the questions that you need to ask yourself is, am I thinking about, and I'm talking to you if you're out there and you're thinking about some kind of change in what you're doing. You've gone down a path, you've had success, and all of a sudden things have turned for whatever reason, and it's making you think about things you haven't thought about before. You're starting to think about, okay, maybe this isn't right for me. Maybe I'm going to make a change. Maybe I'm going to give up on this business. Maybe I'm going to give up on this relationship. Maybe I'm going to just move. Maybe whatever. When in reality, what you have to ask yourself are the things that are making me not have success or the things that I really don't like right now, are they temporary or permanent problems? Most of the times they're temporary. Okay, now sometimes they're permanent, but more times than not, they're temporary. And then the other question is, okay, if they're temporary problems, is it something that I control? And if so, am I doing what's in my control to help fix the problem? If it's not in my control and it's part of a bigger issue in the company or organization or whatever, is somebody else or the people that can fix it aware of the problem and working on fixing it? If they are, dig your heels in and just hold your ground. Because what will happen is things will change as they always do. Time heals so much. Time makes things get better. And sometimes you literally just need to wait it out. If I'm in a bad period of time or in a rut, sometimes I just say to myself, you know what? I just have to wait this out. That's all I've got to do. I've got to let enough time go by so I'm through this period of time because I'm being tested. You're constantly being tested. And what I know is that when you get through that period of time and you've come out the other end and actually sometimes it's just survive. But other times you come out the other end and you actually have thrived. You've actually succeeded. You've figured it out. In which case, either one of those is going to have this long-lasting ripple effect for the rest of your life because you get conditioned. You get conditioned for certain things. You know, we get conditioned if we see certain things, we get a certain emotional response or a certain thought. If as a kid, every time, I saw a balloon, it created pain. I got hit in the head with something. Well, then for the rest of my life, every time I see a balloon, I'd be ready for a knock on the head. I'd be conditioned to assume that something bad's going to happen every time a balloon showed up. The same thing is true in life and business. If I pull the plug and bail out when there's really, really tough stuff going on, then ultimately it conditions me for the rest of my life. Truly, for the rest of my life, I start to set a pattern that's what I do. And so the next time I face a challenge or something that's not going well, I remember back, whether I realize it or not, I go back to my instincts of saying, well, what did I do last time? And last time I bailed. Let me think about doing that now. Whereas if I dug in my heels and figured it out and created success or came through those bad times, then I'm also wired to say, you know what? I handled that. I can handle anything. I did that. You have this confidence. And that's what I've seen very, very successful people do. It's not that you can't dodge bad times. You can't dodge mistakes or bad things happening. It happens. It's just all how we deal with it. I've seen very, very successful people just deal with it differently. They realize they look at it differently when they come upon it. They look at that as saying, okay, this is a period of time I'm getting tested. It sucks. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. But I also know it's not going to last. And in 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever the case may be, I'm going to be in a whole different spot. And I'm going to realize, wow, I'm going to look back and say there was something I took from that made me better and more prepared for the future. I'm a better leader because I dug in my heels and made it through that period of time. I'm a much more effective leader. I'm able to help other people. I'm able to impact organizations better. I'm stronger because of that. Okay, that's the key thing, right? That's what we're trying to do is just grow. It's nothing more than that. And part of that, we just have to keep reminding ourselves that part of growth is we got to go through the tough stuff. And again, when we're not getting good results, nobody likes it. When we're not good at something, I don't like sports I'm not good at. Nobody does, except golf. I like golf, even though I'm not good at it. But we don't like things we're not good at. If I'm not a good singer, I'm probably not going to like karaoke. If I'm not a good whatever, public speaker, I'm probably not going to like it, right? But if I start to get good at it, I'm going to enjoy it more. I'm going to be more apt to do it more. And I'm going to, have fun, right? I'm going to really, truly look forward to it and have fun. Okay, so just keep that in mind. It's okay. It's okay if you're not having good results and you're kind of in the dumper about it. It's all right, but just realize it's temporary. You're doing the things that are in your control to turn that around. If you're not, then you got to do it. If you are, then let yourself just continue down that path and trust the fact that the results will come. Focus on the things you can control, not the stuff that you can't control. Okay, but Keep in mind, the things that you do during the tough times, those are the things, the decisions you make during those times, those are the lasting things that make an impact for the rest of your life. They truly do. Tell your kids that. I learned that as a kid. I tell my kids that too. Like, the things you're going through, it just does. It wires you a certain way and it stays with you the rest of your life. It's that fight or flight. Do you have the mentality where you flee when you have trouble, or do you fight? Do you fight through it? It's the fight mentality that ultimately prepares you for the next one, the next obstacle, and then you ultimately feel invincible. Doesn't mean you're not going to deal with the shit, but you feel prepared to deal with it and handle it and come out the other end a stronger person. So in any event, thought I'd share that with you. I hope that was helpful. Again, I'm here for you. Anything you need, give me a buzz, give me a shout, give me a text, give me an email, whatever. I am here. So thanks for listening. As always, like, share, subscribe, go down below, give a 5-star review, all that kind of good stuff. And I'll see you next time. Bye.